little bit different to the other coast. So we've stopped in the most random spot in Puglia, spelled Puglia but pronounced Apulia, which is the heel of the boot of Italy. So we're staying here for 5 days or so, but we just stopped on the side of the road at a little bar and petrol station, but the food and the coffee was surprisingly good. Going through the port town of Taranto. We've just arrived at our Airbnb, and these two are foraging away, eating the ancient figs. It's actually on a wow, there's an olive grove. They've got all sorts of things growing here, but some of these trees could be hundreds and hundreds of years old. But we're quite happy to be away from the crowds and the heat of the Amalfi coast, so we're staying here for 4 nights, I think.
5.
Yeah, 5 nights. And it's just going to be a super relaxing stay. Huge house, all stone, very cool. Plenty of space for all of us. So this is our welcome pack. It's all stuff that's grown locally, either by themselves or their nephew or cousin or somebody else related to them. Lovely bread, tomatoes, oregano, olive oil.
So, what are we doing, Daddy?
Well, we are going for a walk down the road from our place to see what's around. Apparently there's some cool little stone huts just up the road. So I'm seeing what I can see.
This is our house. Very echoey.
So that olive tree is hundreds of years old. It was the Greeks who first colonized Puglia in the first millennium BC. There's very old stone walls, and then in the same style we've got one of those beehive type buildings. Can I go have a quick look? There's lots of these throughout the region. Most of them are actually plastered and painted white as well, but this one is just in its original form.
They just put rubbish in there.
Yeah, and they just put rubbish in there.
What do they keep in here?
So there's some more of those stone buildings. They're called Trulli, and they're actually just built as temporary storehouses or huts. Built by whoever owned the land or worked the land.
Yeah. Well, not his place. The other guy's place. Germany.
Old abandoned church. Well, after a bit more of a tramp than what we expected, everyone's shoes are muddy, but we've made it back to our house. So another thing we've discovered, a lot of European homes don't have very good lighting, but every problem has a solution.
The moon.
Just doing some work at 8 AM before we go and explore some of the towns nearby. Is that what you want to do?
Yeah.
So, today we're going to a town called Ostuni. It's about half an hour away, and houses and labyrinthine old town. So, climbing up the steps to Ostuni.
And then Dad was like, look at Swiss in there. Please say Francavilla. And then I was like, 50.
Just the entrance of Ostuni. So you can actually see all the way out to
The other side, yeah.
wow, Bari's up there. Bari's up that way somewhere. Brindisi is down that way somewhere. And directly across there is Montenegro, Albania and Croatia.
They planted it
Cork,
with cork.
Cork Garden. Zooms up there. Keep going. Straight up there. It's quite a lovely little church actually. Very small from the outside because it's surrounded by buildings. A lot of artwork all around. They do these thicker type pizzas here. So this one's got some onions and some quite thick cheese on it, and the bread itself is super fluffy. It's actually really, really good and not as heavy as what you think it would be. Yep.
Oh, that's nice.
Tell me what you think. Like it? Found a little antique store. So here you can see the scale of the white buildings. They're all built on this fortified wall going all the way around.
For a few years. Probably the last time she just was when Owen when there was like 4 week phase of the trumpet. Oh.
So we found a lovely little cafe down one of the alleyways. Meanwhile, these guys have got iced coffee and waffles. So while we've been at the cafe, it started raining and you can't even see the coast anymore. So Devon's tempted to take this bike and try it out. So lovely little narrow streets, but for the life of us, we can't understand how on earth they get their cars through these narrow streets. You can see on the tyres they've got scrapes, and on the windows or the mirrors. It's incredible how they get them through these streets.
Seen them for a long time.
It's one of those funny little citrons for around town. So we're out here foraging for figs again, just in the tree right next to the entrance to our house. They all drop on the courtyard here, so you have to sweep them up quite regularly so you don't slip over on them. Let's see if I can find a good one. Ooh, that one might be a little bit too... Yep, that's a little bit gone. But they're absolutely delicious when you find a good one. There we go. At the back of our house is the world's largest pizza oven. It's the size of a shed. And the kids have discovered the hammocks.
Upside down hammocks.
Upside down hammocks. Wow. Now that is a talent right there.
Whee!
Hey, I wonder if Bats or Batman has an upside down hammock. Batman doesn't really hang upside down though, does he?
Yeah.
So we've just arrived at Monopoli. Beautiful clear water. A little bit rocky here, so we're looking for a place to sit. There might be a beach further round. There are lots of people up here on these sun lounges. So we found a spot, as usual. Sand is at a premium, but I'm sure we can find a little corner to put our towels on. So we found a spot. So Devon's made the Colosseum in sand. Explain it to us, Devs.
So you made the maze and I flattened it out. Flattened the top out like this. Like this part. I flattened out this side. And we were just trying to make it like a wall. Just because it was cutting off here. This here. And yeah. So we didn't have this whole piece. So it was just a wall. Like that. Without the maze inside. And I was going to make it a pool where there was water inside. But we actually just made it into a
We did. And now it's super cool. Colosseum with a view over the Adriatic. Beautiful clear water. What's that?
How did we win?
Okay, well Maddie and I just swam out to that headland there and around it to another beach, and then we came back.
Yeah,
It is quite warm.
warm.
Those guys, just relaxing.
I just want to take a little video. Beautiful view. Quite warm in the water. Okay. We're going under.
So this is the port of Monopoli. I got a Coast Guard headquarters here. So everyone's out for a long lazy lunch, being a Saturday. We're just filling up at the town fountain. So I come across an alleyway which has a big wall beside it. Almost looks like a fortress type wall, but I think it actually belongs to a church. Well, that looks to be the entrance to the church, but I think it's all closed up. Unless you can get in around this way. This might be the proper front of it. Ah, yes. That looks more likely. Beautiful old building. You can get stabbed by the cactus. So we've got the party boats out there, all rafted up. Got the music going.
Notice a whole pile of seals down on the shore here too.
art exhibition on at the moment in this church.
What was it?
So we're following the hats.
What are they doing with all those
That
hats up
was
here?
Porto. So it's a 17th century church. We can see the wall. Let's see if we can get onto those cannons. Bastion Santa Maria. So you can't get up there, but there's some old rusty cannons. And this bastion, this little fort, is from the 16th century. Along with that castle, or that fort over there. Funny little art installations, carrot on wheels, and that looks like a potato.
Dad, I think it is supposed to.
So we're inside the fort. Holly the cannons and a big anchor, but also these art installations with people on their phones. How you doing, buddy?
Inside.
Oh yeah, big pile of veggies in there. Aha, grano italiano, chopped up hose pipes.
Rigatoni.
Rigatoni. So this is Brindisi. It's not a very attention-grabbing or exciting town, but it's where my grandfather was based a lot during the war with the Royal Navy, so we thought we'd drive through and have a look at it at least. So this is Lecce, right here.
Right here?
Yep. Which is known as the Florence of the South due to its Baroque architecture. It's also a university town. Well, it's been relatively quiet in Lecce so far. This area is a little bit busier, the main square, but still not too bad. Beautiful big thick copper door. So there we go. There's a smaller amphitheater. Apparently there's a bigger one just down the road. So Devon's found his car that he'd like. Jeep. Jacked up Jeep. So this is the much larger Roman amphitheater. See if we can get a better view from the other side. What do you guys reckon? So apparently you're only allowed to put your lock on one lamppost in the entire city, and this is it. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know why there's hundreds on there. So this is Castle or Castello Carlo V, Charles V. So we found an ancient bike.
Well, not really ancient, but.
So we're going to go into this museum, which is actually in a house, and in about 2015 the owner of this house was trying to fix a sewerage pipe. He kept digging and found all these underground rooms and crypts and tunnels and all sorts of stuff. Knights Templar relics. So now it's a museum. This is basically the entrance of the house, and a whole lot of rooms off it and numbers. And this was an escape room.
Escape tunnel.
Or escape tunnel for the Templars. tiles, and then very steep staircase down. There's a grain system down here from the 11th century. So it's basically just layer upon layer of history over hundreds and hundreds of years, and they just kept building on top of it until the current owner found it in 2015. So this is the grain silo. Yeah, we're in number 8 now. It's a heck of a lot cooler in here. It's actually quite warm outside at the moment. So this is the old well,
It's like not even.
which still has water in the bottom there, still flowing.
So
So that's a tomb down there.
I think they've just cleaned this.
And there's more passageways down there. Oh wow.
It looks like you can go through there.
Wow, so they reckon
What the?
this underground walkway went all the way to that amphitheater that we were at, the big Roman amphitheater, which is at least a couple of 100 meters away, and it's gone under all these houses. So now we're going to room B. Oh. Okay, so this just keeps going down into the rock. Yeah, another escape tunnel.
What do you mean?
They seem to be escaping from a lot. Wow. Probably when the Knights Templar got outlawed in mainland Europe, so including here, they would have needed a few escape tunnels.
This is crazy.
And little escape room. So that hole there is actually part of a tomb, and it was used to help decompose the bodies. That's where all the blood would drip down into. The old chapel of the convent. A church. Small church. Oh wow. And that's all the stuff they found in there. All sorts of broken pottery,
Must have loved their pottery.
jars.
We were literally just under there.
So this is actually showing a whole lot of stuff found
What the?
in a cave near here. And they found pictograms and drawings on the walls dated at around 8000 BC. And because the wife of one of the cavers knew these people, she's donated some of these things that they found in those caves. So they've actually made little models of the caves showing what they found in them. That one you can see a whole lot of drawings on the walls. But yeah, this is somewhere else in Italy.
Why did they have drawings on the walls exactly?
Meantime, there's a wooden model of a penny farthing. So we're up on the terrace and we're going further up. And this was the watchtower of the convent. There we go. What can you see from here? Over the roofs of the surrounding buildings. So we're running over the roof now. What can you see down there, Devs? Nothing much.
Nothing much.
Nothing. Just a little service hatch. Wow, look at that house over there with all the cacti on the terrace. There's actually lots of terraces on all these houses. They mustn't get too much rain. So here's the stairs to the final watchtower. Ta-da! So that's a symbol of the Knights Templar in here.
Made of 600 cylindrical earthenware jars.
Oh,
Circles that you see in the bases of the jars.
16th century you said.
Yeah. Used by Romans.
Made from jars, circular jars.
Used as insulation.
Oh, I see. Used as insulation and made it lighter, but still strong. And we've just spotted the owner himself in the light blue shirt on the left. We've recognised him off the newsreel that was playing.
So what did we just do?
We just went to a cool little museum and house where some guy was trying to sort out his sewage problems and ended up discovering a Knights Templar complex with a whole lot of tunnels that went all the way to the centre of town, a couple of 100 metres away, a nun's convent, some Roman stuff, basically just a whole trip through history in his house, all because he was trying to find a blocked pipe. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah. That is moving.
Almost. There's another church here. Very interesting columns out the front. Sort of twisted or screw type design. I'm going to go out that gate out of the centre of the city. And kids are just having fun chilling on the hammocks. I think they've missed being outdoors in nature for a while. Hello! Coming up to Alberobello, which has the highest concentration of Trulli in this little town. So very soon we're going to see a hillside full of Trulli. So this is Alberobello, which is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's got the highest concentration of these Trulli, or the singular is Trullo. And apparently they were originally built like this in order to evade tax, because they were really easy to build just with the stones that were lying around, and then when you wanted to move on and pretend that there was never a building there so it couldn't be taxed, you could just take the top stone off and then you'd very easily collapse it all in on itself. So they're actually quite easy to build and then quite easy to dismantle and then build one somewhere else once the tax man's gone.
Damn, that's very good.
Yeah, it is. Handy electric cart. Drainage system between the two roofs. Oh wow, that's a tiny door.
Si alzava e si prendeva appunto, c'era il pozzo d'acqua per prendere l'acqua. Ora quando
Some areas are plastered and some are just the bare stone. Kitchen. They actually had a little bit of storage up there.
Which you can literally just take down.
So we've stopped for brunch and food looks pretty amazing. What do you guys reckon?
We're going to look at the view. There's a lot of triangle things, and we're going to see if there's some coins in here. Yep, there is some coins.
Emrin,
Jars down there. Lots and lots of jars. Houses, more houses, more houses. So, Dad can tell you this. Boy, so it wasn't a legend, they actually did this. They didn't want to pay the tax of the houses, so if they when they wanted to run away when the tax person came, then they would just take one stone out and the whole thing would collapse. Some more houses that are easy to build. Easy to collapse. Just at IKEA, and we are getting dinner here before we go on the ferry. So, and we've got some pants so we don't feel sick on the ferry. That helps. And candy canes. Well, we don't have candy canes, but it helps too.
Hi, buddy. We made it.
So I just got a little stand. I got something from IKEA. You can change it to just a little board, but I like it checkered. And look what I got. I got sausage. A little sausage dog. Look, I can put it on my thing. Shut up. Yeah.
So we have about 4 hours to kill in this IKEA while waiting for our ferry, so we thought it was better to stay here in the air conditioning and close to a source of food and water and toilets rather than boiling out in the hot sun on the port somewhere. And I get to get lots of work done. Here we go, getting on the ferry in Bari on our way to Bar. So we're heading down to level 2.
What does that mean?
We've been warned not to recumbence the door.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
So we made it to the bowels of the ship through a rabbit warren. I don't know if we're going to be able to find our way out, but
Let's go out.
anyway, it's just for one night.
How is it?
So Anna reckons it's like going back in time.
Well, we are
On
just
this
going
ferry?
through a boat.
It's rather old. Made it outside. And this will be our last Italian sunset for some time. Beautiful send-off in Bari before we dock in Bar tomorrow morning. So what's that? 4 weeks in Italy so far? Yeah, so almost a month in Italy. There's a few things we'll miss. The gelato, the pasta, the history. We won't miss the crazy driving or the heat. And we haven't missed the crowds since we've been in Puglia, where it's been a lot quieter.